welcome to my channel. I'm Magical Maiden, and this is my fall welcome. Most of you know that have been my subscribers for a long time that I like to change my welcome with the seasons and the holidays, and it's fall, that time, spooky season's coming. So, first, I want to say thank you for all my subscribers, the ones that have been there for the beginning, since the beginning. And also to my new subscribers. I've gotten quite a lot of new subscribers, so I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate all of you. And to all my subscribers, old and new, and to those who are just looking around, I hope you'll subscribe. Remember to click that notification bell so you're notified when I upload my newest content. So, again, it is the fall season. So, it is the fall season, and I wanted to have a nice fall background. So, most of you, just going to move my mic. So, most of you that know my channel for a long time know that I do my new welcomes to just update you on anything new and just tell you a little bit about my channel. So, my channel got started a long time ago, way long time ago, but I never used to really put anything public. Most of the time it was just to host pictures of my cats, and then one time I did a jewelry craft and I posted it on my personal Facebook, and before you know it, everybody wanted more, and then it went like, it got so many views. I was pretty shocked. So I just kept doing more and more. Now, I'm not monetized. I make no money off of this channel. It's just a hobby, and I like to share things with you. And I then had a lot of videos of my cats and jewelry. But what happened was, after a while, YouTube was just, I didn't have enough time for YouTube. A lot of my friends left YouTube, so I decided to just remove all my videos. Now, I didn't delete them all. I saved them to a stick, and then what happened was I decided to come back. It might have been like 6 months later, but I wanted to revamp my channel, and I didn't add everything that I originally had, like all the videos of my cats that passed that were then alive. I didn't really post them back, and I changed it up a little, wanted to refresh my channel. And so I added a bunch of new stuff, and some of the stuff that I did, of course, all my jewelry tutorials are in there. And I'm going to tell you, I have a variety of different playlists. So I have something for everybody. If you're not into one thing, you can find many other playlists. So one of my main playlists is, so the first thing you're going to see when you come to my channel is my welcome. Holidays and the change of seasons. I like to have a little fun with it. I also like to, so the other thing is updates and announcements. That's with anything that's coming. If I used to have giveaways of the jewelry that I made and what have you, but I haven't been able to do this as the prices of everything went up, and sending packages out, it's really expensive. So I do all that, and then whenever I have any new news, or if I'm going to add or change things on my channel, I like to update it over there as well in the updates and announcements playlist. And of course, my welcomes go to my updates and announcements channel. I'm going to move my microphone a little, so that's my microphone right there. Okay, so then the next thing, that I do, uh, so then my other playlist is my jewelry tutorials. I do a variety of different types of jewelry. I made this necklace, these earrings, and I did it with a die cut machine. So I have die cut machines. If you're not sure what that is, go check it out. And I show you how to use a die cut machine in some of them. I show you what I use with materials. And I made like, I made a large amount of things with my die cut machine. And I also make wire jewelry, bead jewelry, lots of filigree jewelry. I also do glass cabochons, many different things you can do with glass cabochons. Okay, using glitter, cello glitter, using stickers. I also have a new thing that I did this summer with beach pendants, and you got to really check them out. They're really fun, and they're surprisingly easy to do. You don't have to be an artist. I also had resin jewelry. I used to do a lot of resin. So much that I had like over 300 pieces that I finally just gave away to my whole family. So I have 4 videos with resin. One telling you what to do, what not to do, what you need, what you don't need. The second one showing you mixing the epoxy resin and showing you pouring it and the things you could put in. The third one is popping them out of the mold and showing you how you trim them, polish them, and use a Dremel and create beautiful things with them. The fourth one is I'm showing you some ideas of the things that I created. Okay, so that's my resin. And of course, like I said, I have wire jewelry, bead jewelry. I have lots of filigree, things you could do with filigree. They're called connectors, and it's all affordable. Also, I have things that you can make with cardboard. And also, I have some things that I made with tins from discarded used tea lights. So I have a little bit, and tin candlets. So I have a little bit of everything in there, and I try to keep it easy and affordable. So if you're new to jewelry making and you don't know anything, I try to put the terminology of what you call this and that, because when I started jewelry, I didn't know what anything was called. I'm like, what's an eye pin? What's a head pin? What's this? What's that? So I had to do all that. So that's all going to be in there. And I try to make it, like I said, as easy and affordable for anybody and everybody, whether you're a beginner or you've been making jewelry all your life. And you can apply this to any type of jewelry, whether it's costume jewelry or if you want to make expensive jewelry using real silver, real gold, real gemstones, what have you. But you can take the same ideas. And you can also change the idea. You could take the concept and just like tweak it and make it your own, right? Is my jewelry tutorial playlist. Then I have DIY crafts. Now, I haven't put anything in there in a while, but I do have a lot of crafts in there. And just around the holidays or just everyday home decor. And I also keep that affordable and easy as well. Then I have my everyday vlogs. Now I don't do them every day. I just call it everyday vlog because it's like basically everyday vlog where I chit chat, tell you about a lot of things. I have stories. I have a neighbor across the street who has a crazy son, and believe you me, there's a lot of stories there. And I also have way back a couple of years ago, probably 7 years ago, when me and my husband went to Watkins Glen in upstate New York. We used to live in upstate New York. We used to live in Florida. I lived everywhere. So that would be in there, our vacation when we went that time. I take you to the beach with me, and my move when we lived upstate New York and we moved all the way down here to southern Alabama. The whole move, I show you packing and everything. My cat Rudy that passed will be in some of my videos. He was a tuxedo gray and white, a dark gray and white. And he died 2 summers ago, my poor baby. But he was in a lot of videos, and if you didn't see him, you heard him meowing. And he was always knocking things down. So sometimes someone's like, "Did you hit him?" I'm like, "No, he knocked things down. You heard bang, click, bang." He was always like around me whenever I did videos, and he loved to be in most of my videos. Unfortunately, my cats Salem and Magic don't like that. But I also have paranormal vlogs, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But first, I want to tell you that I have the everyday vlogs, and I do tell you about when I lived in upstate New York and we got these 2 crazy neighbors and the antics and the things they put us through. And now I tell you, and every video will be titled My Neighbor's Crazy Son. There's more updates, and I have to make a new vlog. There's been more antics. They added a third party to this. So his other brother's living here, and they added his homeless girlfriend. So yeah, it's been crazy around here, and I got a lot, so I'm going to be making a new one of that. So look for those. Then I have my I have like copyright free to use backgrounds that I created or my husband created. I haven't done any in a while, but they're there for Halloween too. So all I ask is that, they're free to use. Just put my credit, my name at Magical Maiden, Magikal Maiden. Okay, so then the next thing I have some ASMR. I haven't done that in a while, but I do have quite a bit. I have Halloween ASMR, Christmas, and like I said, I have some poetry in there. I also have recipe. I have not shorts, but they're short videos with a mix of bit of everything. They're like maybe 5 to 8 minutes long rather than 20, 30, or an hour. Okay. Then I do have shorts, which I've been starting to do that. As most of you know, I'm not a big cell phone fan, but I started using it, and most of it's up my cats, Salem and Magic. But I do put I just recently uploaded some Halloween decorations in my home and what they look like in the day and at night lit, and I have more to put in there. I have a ton of stuff. And of course, my cat, Salem and Magic. Then I have my paranormal vlogs. But also, I have recipes in those in the mixed short ones. So that are really quick and easy recipes. So now I'm going to tell you about my paranormal vlogs. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you about my paranormal vlogs. If you haven't seen them, now I started them about 7 years ago, and I tell you about my experience growing up paranormal. I am clairaudient and I am clairvoyant. Now, the clairvoyance isn't as strong as most, but probably because I didn't use it. So, when you don't use your clairaudience or any of your abilities, okay, they go dormant. But if you, like I say all the time, if you don't use it, you lose it. But I've been using it more and more. I tell you about my experience growing up from when I was a baby all the way till now. And I have lots of experiences and I tell you about it. And I try to keep it fun. See, I'm a goofy person. I like to keep my channel positive. I'm not that serious when I tell things unless it's something upsetting. But I try to keep my channel fun, positive, and I do like to share things. Now, I don't try to convince anybody. If you don't want to believe it, don't believe it, right? I don't get paid. My channel's free. I struggled to share it, but then I checked and I thought that it was good. It was the right time to share. People are waking up, their minds are more open to things like that. And I started sharing my paranormal books. And when I first started, I didn't have good lighting. I didn't have a good laptop. I had a, it wasn't too old, but at that time, but it didn't have the best camera. And so then, like my first three or four, then my husband got me for my birthday a ring light. He got me a good camera and all that stuff. So they started getting better. And at first, I felt kind of nervous and sharing my paranormal experiences with everybody and telling you about my abilities of being clairaudient and hearing spirits, entities, and interdimensional beings and speaking with them. Now, I have conversations because most paranormal people think they only say a few words or they can never say a full sentence. I've heard that so many times, or oh, they never talk that clear. But you hear that, and yes, they do. It's just that if you're not clairaudient or a medium or what have you, you're not going to hear it as clear as I'm going to hear it. And they do say a lot more, but you're only catching maybe one or two or maybe four words. So that's why that's the conception of most people. Because when they take EVPs, they even in the EVP, they don't really hear all of it. There could be a whole thing going on in there and they only picked out a few words, which is a shame. And like when I watch people on YouTube that have done investigations in a house, usually it's those abandoned houses and they're not necessarily paranormal, but I can hear spirits. Like I put my earbuds in, okay? That helps. But I'm like, and I'm typing at this mark, you can hear this. They want your help, and it's a shame that they don't pay attention to that. So I can hear it. Even I was watching a radio, not watching, listening to a radio thing that talked about power. It was I can't remember what it was. Remember Art Bell's channel? Then George Nori took it over. What is it called? Anyway, I was listening to that and I heard spirits talking in the background to George Nori, trying to get his attention and repeating words. And I was like, ah. I think I did contact him and let him know, but I don't know if he read it or not. And but he did on a next show say a lot of people were contacting me and saying they could hear people in the background talking or a spirit trying to get my attention and saying things. So I'm not the only one who could hear it, because he said it was more than one person contacting him other than probably me. Um, but I have a lot. So another thing I do is I give you EVPs because I try to get the best. I have conversations with them and I take EVPs out of that. What I do is I make clips out of it because I know a lot of you cannot hear it if you're not clairaudient or medium. So what I do is I take the best of the best and I will put it on Audacity. And then what I do is after I clear it up and make it louder, get rid of the noise, I don't edit it in any other way or, adjust it to fabricate anything. Okay. And then you can hear the EVP. I realize not everybody's going to be able to hear it. So some people, it may sound like just sounds and or you could barely make it out. I get it, but I try to do the best of it. And some of them are really loud and clear. And I have still a whole bunch to upload. So I'm going to be probably busy in the next few weeks doing that. But you have to find time and we're all busy. So the next thing I have is in there, I also do water scrying. Now I do it differently. I could capture spirits, entities, and interdimensional beings in water. And I have a video, I believe it's episode 6 and 12. I'm not really sure. I think it's episode 6 and 12. Like one I show you, like I kind of tell you and show you what I use and tell you what to do and what not to do. And then in episode 12, I show you myself doing it and getting the pictures from what I caught. And I do that around every September and October. I don't do it every day. I don't want to bother the spirits and interdimensional beings because they're kind enough to come forward and take those pictures for me. I also do it in video form, but I get the pictures out of the video. Like you have to go really slow. It's time consuming, trust me, to go through all this. And anyway, I explain it all in there. Then I have something new. Recently, I got security cameras and I got one for the inside. And I started hearing a lot of EVPs. Some are super loud. They come and they tell me their name, their full names, usually sometimes their first name and sometimes their first name and their last name. They tell me what they died of. One person came and told me his name was Jeff Atkins. He just said Jeff Atkins. They tell me how they die. One person says, I think they said they hang themselves. Another one said they misused a prescription that was given to them, and that's how they died. So they like to share, or they tell me that there was one that was really clear. He said my stone was carved, and he repeated it. So I think it was his tombstone was probably finely carved. Then another one shared that they have kids. Another one said I had a daughter. I mean, they want to tell themselves about themselves to me. They know I can hear them. So they want to share that and yeah, I can talk to people that just recently died. I've talked to my parents. That died a long time ago. I can pretty much contact anybody that really wants to talk, and, and yes, I've talked to celebrities that recently died. I'm not really into celebrities, but there's certain people that I thought were good people, and I did to make sure they were okay if they wanted to tell me anything. And, I don't bother them too much, but I said, if you ever need anything or have any questions, you can come to me. So I left it there. If they needed any help, people do get lost. I get a lot of that help me things. I also caught a lot of, besides EVPs, I caught a lot of orbs. And you're going to see tons and tons of orbs. And I have a lot of videos with that. Some I just make a full video of just orbs, and then some I mix it in with the EVPs. And another thing I caught, which I never in a million years thought I would catch, is my cat Salem and Magic actually speaking human words. Okay? Yeah, believe it or not, it's true. And my cat Magic is very more talkative than Salem, and he's a wisecracker, and he's got a little bit of a potty mouth. He curses. But yeah, you can hear that all, and I have so many good ones coming up that I still have to make a video with. I have the whole month of August, basically, most of it, and I have all of like so far a few days of September. So it's like I have a lot saved. and it's time consuming to do this. So, and I have a lot more orbs. And I also caught orbs chasing my cat Magic, which I have a video there. And he's like, he says, Howard, leave me alone now. Like he was annoyed. He knew who it was. He has names for everybody. And I can hear him. My cats have conversations with spirits, entities, and interdimensional beings. I mean, I hear them having going back and forth, and they always tell, oh, they know, meaning me and my husband, they know that they talk human words. And they're like, oh, she knows, mama knows, mama knows. That's what's a Magic thing. And he has this cute voice. And I know it's hard to believe, but a lot of cats say hello. My cat Magic, I always call him Hello Kitty. He's like Hello Kitty because in the morning he's like hello, hello, and I'm like hello, hello, because he wants me out of bed. And there's one where he's like says, "Get out of bed now." He's walking up to sit on the chair that faces the bedroom. He's in the living room, and he gets up and he's like, "Get out of bed now," and then he jumps in the chair and stares. The first time I ever heard my cat speaking human words, unfortunately, Salem was out of the camera because my camera's in my living room and he was in the kitchen, which is right there. My house is in a mansion, so I mean, it's right there. And my cat Salem said, Mama, I'm nauseous. Help. I'm hungry, because he's older and he didn't get, I don't leave food out. I live in the South. I live in the woods. You get lots of bugs. So I don't want to like leave his food out and then see ants all over it. Although it's been pretty good this year, but you never know. When we get a lot of rain, the ants tend to come in, but I don't leave his food out. Also, I don't want fat cats. So I feed them at certain times. And then before bed, I give him a good night snack. Unfortunately, that night he didn't eat too much of his good night snack. He was in a mood. So I'm like, I tried to give him a chance. He didn't want to, and I knew it. He's older, so he gets a lot of acid, and then he throws up, bile, which is what happened when I woke up that morning. So he was hungry and he was nauseous, and I'm like, oh my God. But I do test that because I'm like, am I the only one who's hearing this? So I let my husband hear it. He's not clairaudient. And he was like, oh my God. And I let my sister, who's definitely not awake, she can hear it. And other people. So go check out my paranormal vlogs. It's all in there for some spooky fun. I keep it spooky. I keep it fun. So please join me on my paranormal vlogs and check out all my playlists. I have, like I said, a variety of playlists, and I hope you will. I just want to say happy fall. Happy spooky season, and I have lots of paranormal vlogs coming your way because this is the season. And I try to do a big Halloween extravaganza. I try to put a long special for Halloween, so that'll be like an hour long or more. So I hope you join me. And I hope if you're not subscribed that you subscribe. And for those who are, please stay subscribed and click that notification bell. I really just want to say that I appreciate and love you all. And thanks for watching. And thanks for being here. So I'll see you in my videos.